All right. Good morning, everyone. In Brent's absence, I'll be hosting our meeting for worship this morning. So, welcome to everyone. In the absence of music this morning, I guess we'll begin with any announcements that, if anyone has any. I think we have monthly meeting this Wednesday at 7 o'clock, if I have my dates correct. So, that would be the only announcement that I would have.
USFW is meeting on Wednesday also at 1:30 over at Valley Mills.
All right. How about joys and concerns?
Well, we were talking about animals, and my joy is that my three raccoons have had babies, and I'm just so thrilled. Troy is not because they tend to tear up his front porch, but they come down and eat at my house and then go home. So I find that I will be so happy when they come down to meet me.
Well, I have a journey. Granddaughter Emma, who is the daughter of my youngest son Matthew and his wife Jenny, and they live next door, have lived next door to me in my parents' house. So it's been a wonderful relationship with their whole family. She graduated from University of Indianapolis, which used to be Indiana Central, and now in University of Indianapolis. She graduated last Monday, and she was is a biology chemistry major on her way to becoming a doctor. And when we got to the graduation service and read the program, she was summa cum laude. And in biology chemistry, that seems so amazing to me. And she has been accepted at Rush in Chicago. That's not really a university as such, but it's a special program of some sort where she will be trained in how to manage the heart lung machines. If you go in for like open heart surgery, something like that, then she'll be the one that will be monitoring those machines while you're having your surgery. So I'm really proud of her. And all of my grandchildren, I'm proud of all of them. They all graduated from college.
I have a concern I wanted to share. Today is the national rededication of the United States to being one nation under God. And I wanted to read from Amos chapter 5, 21 to 25, where the prophet says, I hate your religious festivals. Your assemblies are a stench to me. Even though you bring me burnt offerings, I will not accept them. Though you bring me choice fellowship offerings, I have no regard for them. Away with the noise of your songs. I will not listen to it. But let justice roll like a river, righteousness like a never failing stream. So is this rededication to righteousness and and justice, or is it to something else?
Well, Nancy and I have a joy. Our grandson Logan Bailey is married. Just this past, well, I don't know how long ago it was.
April 24th.
April 24th. And lo and behold, I went to high school with both sides of her grandparents. So it's kind of a happy occasion.
It was a surprise.
As always, we have much to be mindful of and thankful for. Our worship leader today, I believe, is Sylvia, and she will speak as led out of the silence.
There are lots of joys and concerns in this season of graduation ceremonies, and my title today would be Wisdom from Commencement Speakers, or not. Dan and I have been traveling near and far to attend commencements for our grandchildren and a few other relatives, and we have yet more, several to attend. I almost said we are attending graduations, but in preparation for this message, I learned that the word graduation means the academic milestone of completing a degree program, while the commencement is the ceremony celebrating that achievement. I think that means a student could graduate if he or she completes all the requirements, even without attending the commencement, and several do that. But most students and their proud parents are excited about that achievement, and both turn out in high percentages for what is a very special occasion for them. However, few of them probably remember anything about the speeches they hear or have heard, and those speeches come from famous and maybe not so famous but well-intentioned guest speakers who wish they could give some everlasting advice on how to carry on after reaching that milestone of graduating. I remember very little about my Plainfield High School commencement or my William Penn College commencement. And I was sure I hadn't even attended the ceremony for my master's degree until Dale was going through some old slide photos, and there I was, receiving a diploma at Butler University. I said, I didn't go to that. How did you get that picture? I said, yes, you did. And I was there. I've been wondering what the students this year will remember from their commencements and the other celebrations held to honor them. We are learning that celebrations hosted by families of the graduates vary quite a bit from one area of the country to the others. In some places, people just don't have an open house or party in the days before or after commencement. Like in North Carolina, we said, when's her party? And they said, we don't do parties. But in Minneapolis, where Dan's children live, the graduates, or probably their mothers, even confer about what food they will be providing so they don't duplicate what somebody else may be offering at their party. For those who jump from one to another, they want them all to be different. So at Elijah's party last 4 years ago, they served various kinds of potato chips and various flavors of ice cream. Maybe at other parties, one could find veggies or cheese trays or hot dogs or hamburgers. At the 3-hour party we attended Friday night, about 10 miles down the road from here, there were games, various kinds of pizzas and desserts, and about 100 people were there. Cody, the graduate, is the son of Dan's niece. On the walls of their 2 large garages, Cody's mother had displayed at least 200 pictures of him taken at various stages in his life. Each guest was asked to pose with Cody for a picture, which could later be placed in the open rectangle next to the names we signed in the guest book. Now, Cody will have that guest book for his treasure box of keepsakes for the rest of his life. So maybe he will remember the party, but not his commencement. And there was a big basket for cards and gifts. I read just yesterday, I read that the current expectation of graduation gifts from family members is between $100 and $500. But that was after we got home from the party. We were too late. Sorry, Cody. So far this year, we have attended 2 commencements and 2 baccalaureates, which, as you know, baccalaureates are celebrations with a religious emphasis and are generally kept non-denominational. Most of the time, attendance at baccalaureates are optional. And the one we attended Thursday evening for seniors at a small school here in rural Iowa had only 14 out of the 40 graduating class. The pastor, who was the speaker, had 3 pieces of advice, and not all had positive reactions from those attending. His first message was keep Jesus in your life and hang out with others who have Jesus in their lives. That's okay. The second one was go to college, get a job, get married as soon as you can, and have babies in that order, and populate the world. There was some open resistance to that message. And number 3, get rid of your cell phones and watch out for the internet. They both have a lot of bad stuff on them. That was the graduation speech and a baccalaureate. Wheaton College, where Dan's grandson has been for the last 4 years, and where his sister will begin next year, is just west of Chicago. Wheaton has a strong religious element and is even referred to as the Harvard of religious colleges. Baccalaureate is required there, so there were about 400 students in dark blue gowns marching to the baccalaureate service. The service featured messages from 3 students and the president. They did it all in an hour. Both Dan and I were impressed with the quality of those speeches, especially the first one. The young lady who gave it spoke about how her understanding of God had changed in her 4 years at Wheaton. She quoted C.S. Lewis as he had stated in one of his books written while mourning the death of his wife, titled A Grief Observed. He wrote this: my idea of God is not a divine idea. My idea has to be shattered from time to time. God shatters it himself, meaning the things that happen that break idols or images or even temples to give us more of himself. We need Christ, not something that resembles him. Could we not almost say that this shattering is one of the marks of his presence? Well, that young lady went on to say something I felt was parallel to what I shared with you last month in my message about our tendency to form our own firm convictions or beliefs about God, and then how we may respond to him when those beliefs are shattered. She didn't mention Peter Enns, but I thought if she knew him, she would align herself to his book, The Sin of Certainty. This young lady had come to Wheaton College with certainty in her beliefs. She was celebrating the freedom she felt as she left college to face the world and her future with God, but with an open mind about her journey with him. How refreshing, and how different from what we heard Thursday night. Well, the book of Proverbs has gems of wisdom for graduates and for us as the parents and grandparents or friends to share with our young people. In fact, the book of Proverbs opens like this. These are verses 1 to 7. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for attaining wisdom and discipline, for understanding words of insight, for acquiring a disciplined and prudent life, doing what is right and just and fair, for giving prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance for understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. Proverbs 16:16 says, how much better to get wisdom than gold, to choose understanding rather than silver. And Proverbs 20, even a child is known by his actions, by whether his conduct is pure and right. And this from Deuteronomy, which follows the Ten Commandments. Hear, O Israel, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be upon your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Fear the Lord your God, serve him only, and take your oaths in his name. Do not follow other gods, the gods of the peoples around you. Psalm 78. O my people, hear my teaching. Listen to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things from of old, what we have heard and known, what our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children. We will tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, his power, and the wonders he has done. Let's move to the New Testament. In Romans 12, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. This is also one of the scriptures that young lady at Wheaton used in her message. 2 Timothy 3. But as for you, continue in what you have learned and have become convinced of, because you know those from whom you learned it, and how from infancy you have known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make you wise for salvation through faith in Jesus Christ. That might be a little contrary to the other scriptures. It sounds like that certainty is okay, but I picked this one because it says, because you know those from whom you learned it. And that is also a valuable lesson to learn. And these words of Jesus in Luke 6, a student is not above his teacher, but everyone who is fully trained will be like his teacher. Jesus, the greatest teacher of all. So how can we make precious and endearing memories of life lessons for our graduates, especially those in our family? If they don't remember a speech, if they don't remember a card with money enclosed, if they don't remember that you traveled over 1,000 miles to see them in their caps and gowns, what will they remember? What will they treasure? What will they gain from you being with them? You may be hoping for those answers, but I'm still looking for them as well. So I think I'll stop here and give you time to contemplate your response.
sometimes I need to stop thinking that I'm pleasing somebody when I'm really pleasing myself to witness somebody. And yes, it's difficult to travel those miles, but we spoke of our souls before, and what I'm doing is filling a hole in my soul, to be there to witness whoever's graduating. But the struggle is real. Are they going to appreciate it? And that's a dangerous question. It takes you down a place that you don't want to be. So I have to remind myself, I'm doing it for myself.
I was surprised to find that the speaker at my grandson's graduation from university was my son. He hadn't told us that, but I was listening to what he had to say. And essentially, he said, first of all, know you're loved by God. And then take what you've been given. Then take what you've been given to go and make a difference in this world. And I told him the next day or so, I said, well, I wish I'd really understood that before you were out of home. There's someplace in my late 30s or early 40s, I felt like God said to me, would you just quit trying so hard and let me love you? And then after a period of some rigorous healing, I felt God was saying, now, what are we going to do with this? It didn't change what I was doing, really. It changed my attitude about it.
I saw two graduation cards that I thought were really clever. One of them says, "You did it. Now go make questionable decisions responsibly." And here's one. "You did it. Now walk across that stage in that weird hat and that wizard robe and walk right into your future." And here is a quote from C.S. Lewis. "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." And I think this is my favorite. "The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why." From Mark Twain. And if we were singing a hymn today, it would be God of grace and God of glory. And I'm just going to read two of the verses. "Cure thy children's warring madness, bend our pride to thy control. Shame our wanton selfish gladness, rich in things and poor in soul. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage, lest we miss thy kingdom's goal. Set our feet on lofty places, gird our lives that they may be armored with all Christ-like graces in the fight to set men free. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage, that we fail not man nor thee." Amen.
Thank you, Sylvia. We know that some folks have to leave us for other obligations. For those who can stay with us, we'll continue on in silent worship.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia.
And
Thank you,
Dale,
Sylvia.
thank you
Thanks,
very much
Sylvia
for your
and
witness.
Dale.
Thanks.
If all hearts and minds are open, we can end meeting for worship.
Good to see
be with you
everybody.
again. Oops. Good to be with you again. Thank you all. Have a peaceful day.
Thank you, Jonathan.